Hey, and welcome back to my bookshelf tour as we go through comics, which are a lot of individual issues of comics we seem to have in this one. Start off with, do I even have? God. Ah, yes, okay. Number one of Sex Criminals, which is all about this couple who, if they have sex, it freezes time and they can commit crimes. Not sex crimes. They have sex, nice consensual sex between each other. That's the only way it works. They can't have sex with other people. That would cause a stoppage of time. I think they operate that. Um, I read like the first four issues of it, and I think it's just one of these comics that was just like, okay, it's kind of going on forever. It has like really lovely art. Um, this is Matt Fraction and Chip Zdarsky with Kazin doing the coloring, which yeah, it's got quite nice striking coloring. Especially you can tell the effects when we're going into the time frozen in times spots. Yeah, I just never continued with it. Has those. I really do like all these kind of like really striking iconic covers. That much more than when it's super detailed. Um, does Speaking of, I guess, more kind of super detailed, you've got Jodorowsky and Beltran with Megalant's book number one, The Anomaly, with you know rather big-breasted, um, shaved head chick, which yeah, that sort of does with me. It's very much kind of European, kind of ultra realist. It's kind of it's a sci-fi story. Um, you know, Despite my attractions to certain features of the female there, uh, never really held me as a story. Um, I think got more to do with the art style actually probably than it does with the story. Though the story, it's one of these things that it's probably like this is number one, and I'm sure there's like multiple books of it. And again, it seems like one of these things in comic stories where I like things compressed. Maybe simplistic. I don't know. No, I wouldn't say simplistic because I've enjoyed other longer series. The From Hell series was actually one where they really had a lot of really good had a really complex long running story, but it felt like it had momentum in a way that it didn't. Here's something. What's Wrong? Explicit graphic interpretations against censorship, edited by Robin Fisher. Which comic books are definitely because they are seen as a children's medium, or have been for a lot of our history. Starting off with the in the comics they had the big kind of backlash. The Was it the War Against the Innocent by a psychologist in the 50s, which basically imposed the comic book industry. Actually, the main big players of the comic book industry imposed a comic book code on themselves, much like the film industry imposed the rating systems on themselves to so that government wouldn't get involved. But led to basically the infantilization of comics, where they weren't going to, at least in the kind of North Americans realm, weren't going to deal with adult issues, and this is very much a book about that. Little Sister's Book and Art Emporium in Vancouver has long fought for the freedom of expression to the point of taking Canada Customs to court, charging that by regularly seizing material destined for store, branding them obscene, the federal agency was guilty of harassment and infringement of free speech. In December of 2000, the Supreme Court of Canada handed down a landmark decision in the case of Little Sister's Book and Art Emporium versus Canada, stating that the onus of providing expressive material is obscene lies with the stating that the onus of proving that expressive material is obscene lies with Canada Customs. Little Sister's battle against censorship continues. In 2002, they filed an appeal against Canada Customs for prohibiting the importation of 2 adult comic books. So kind of customs really, especially if you're very much the kind of it seemed to be a very kind of straight heterosexual thing, because they would really come down hard on gay and lesbian books, which is why Little Sisters, a gay and lesbian bisexual LGBTQ plus bookstore, was got heavily, their material that they were bringing in for their readership got heavily thing. So they came out with this comic book, which is actually a kind of a really cool thing. Really cool. Okay, all pictures are definitely, this is not a kid video for adults, but it's not a video for kids. It's very much, you know, it was God, not speaking today. This was sort of a way of trying to raise money for that, and I'm someone who's actually quite into adult comics of all varieties, so it was a good match. I think that is Fillon on the front. What's his name? Patrick Fillon. Yeah, who's rather hung studs. I muscular, kind of comic booky, but also kind of very gay kind of stuff. I thought was quite cool. I like his comic style. There's a wide variety of different folks in here. Yeah, well, just getting to see a lot of pictures at the moment, but yeah, definitely a cool variation on that. I've got all my floppy versions of the Rod Espinosa thing, so all his the Battle Girls comics. In the good thing about these is that they're actually the collections are in these tiny little books, which shrink all the wonderful art down to that, which is traditional size for comic books, but then you lose sort of all the detail, which is too bad. Here, is there one that's just open that I can, here, like Newtopia, which is his other series, less cheesecakey, which got thing. Though these are in color, which, funnily enough, I don't think I like the color ones as much as I like the line art ones, where you get a lot more of the detail. So trade off one way or the other. I think I have a feeling the Battle Girls ones are probably in black and white. I can't remember, but yes, they're fun adventure comics in a very kind of steampunky way. There's on the back is the advertisement for those mangas. What I considered the that kind of little square box size of a manga comic. What else do we have up here? Sort of more floppies and stuff. Wolverton, which was the fellow I was talking about. Wolverton is another one of these kind of old style. Actually, there's on the back here is a good representation of Wolverton style, which is that kind of outlandish, exaggerated, very thick line. I really enjoy that stuff. I enjoy my cartoons very cartoony, even if sometimes the subject matter is more. So here's just a little floppy of Finder, which is collected in some gigantic. I think I've got 2 gigantic editions of this, of kind of the main protagonist of a girl. And I think kind of, I can't even remember now, but yes, Talisman. Kind of a post-apocalyptic world, or just like an alternative world. I can't remember right now. There's what reading gets you. There's what reading gets you. What else do we have here? Oh, some more 00 comics, which, see, they're scattered all over the place with all really fascinating and interesting artists. Yeah. Oh, and here, yet more. This is Love and Rockets. They had a couple of iterations, and this is where they were doing kind of more thinner but floppy style. Then they shifted to the new Love and Rockets, which was more of a kind of a digest, which was coming out a lot later. But there's a couple of main characters that Gilbert, Duckface, and I think Maggie, who we follow throughout the years, and then more kind of cartoony stuff from Beto, with Jamie on the back there. Not Gilbert. Gilbert doing his he loves depictions of his heroine there. Yeah, she's quite cool. Not that I can remember names at this point because I'm old. There's a trilogy tour which I think I picked up this just kind of out of a bin because it's got a bit of Linda Medley in there, and I guess I should know it from Jeff Smith and Charles Vest, but no, Linda Medley, Castle Waiting is why I've probably collected that. Oh, and here is me at my most cheesecake of taste, which is the Cave Woman. Cave Woman, I don't even know if this is a comic. I think this is just pinups of an incredibly busty cave woman in her bikini, being very naked in a lot of these comics. So yes, yeah, there she she is, coming and going, very sexy. One of those days. Okay, we'll leave it there today. That's me going through comics in a very disorganized fashion. Perhaps I should try this weekend, after inflicting a couple more of these just really disorganized ones, I should try and organize stuff so I can just say, okay, here are all these comics, here are all these comics, and not have to, maybe I can hold up covers, but I don't have to like continually do it each and every episode of my bookshelf tour, which no one will ever watch. So I'm just doing it for myself. All right, more videos later.